if you are a record exec and you owe people money, give people their money. Maporisa, stop playing.
Pay them.
DJ Maporisa. We can't every other month there's someone coming out and say, DJ Maporisa, my song is trending, but I don't have any money. I'm broke. I'm driving Uber. No, you can't do that. Also, I'm sorry, DJ Maporisa, if you're seeing this. I actually love DJ Maporisa.
I absolutely agree with you. Pay them, because we also have the same thing happening in television and film, behind the scenes, where there's so many fly-by-night production companies coming out, and they are not paying the crew. They are not paying the cast.
The extras, I've heard them complain.
Yeah, the extras, everyone. And we've had it all over. It's public news, right? Where people are actually fighting for their money. So I absolutely agree with you. Like, if you've made a deal with a crew member, a cast member, the extras, whoever in your production, please pay them on time.
Keep your word.
Like, we don't need to degrade people or people to be going out there begging for their 1,000 rand.
Imagine, and I hear all the time when people defend that kind of nonsense, they're like, yeah, but it costs this to do. If you can't, if part of your expenses does not include paying people their money, then you don't afford to have a production.
Exactly.
Save more money so that you can do that. We're starting on a heavy note. My name is Thula. This is Thula You Talk Too Much. I am not alone. I am with the incredible. Say your name yourself this time so that I can clip it for a tag.
Okay. Thandiwe.
Okay, I like that. This is Thandiwe Khaubepe. You know her. I got so many. Not many. I'm exaggerating. I got a number. People really like you.
Really?
I was like, why are you guys not commenting on me? Like, people mentioned you. Even on comments, I saw. We posted on so many socials. I don't know which ones, but I saw people being like, "We see Thandiwe's face. We click." I think you're kind of famous.
Oh, wow, really?
I think your face is familiar.
I'm happy people like me. I hope it will carry on.
Yeah, it absolutely will. I like you too. So thank you for being here. I'm going to start. We're not going to dilly-dally today. We're just going to go straight into it. We're not going to pussyfoot or any of that. I'm going to start on a kind of heavy note. Not heavy that way, but heavy in that we're not ramping up. Let me play this clip now that I have audio powers.
Okay.
And I must say, Anele, with great respect, your callers are asking much more sensible questions than you are. Because they're asking the granular questions that have something to do with local government.
Cape Town is a great example of a well-run. So
that is
what about Tshwane and what about Nelson Mandela Bay? Are they as well-run as Cape Town?
Of course not, because it hasn't had the DA government for 20 years. That's the point.
So you're saying that
when you've had the DA government for 20 years,
Helen,
you have a good play. I'm telling you the truth. You can say, oh, Helen, all you like, because I'm not playing your ideological games here. I'm talking about...
Before I continue, this is Helen Zille having a conversation with Anele on her show this week. As you all know, Helen Zille is running for mayor of Joburg, which is huge, which I was like... Yeah, I was kind of not in disbelief, but I was like, oh, damn, that's a huge move. And we'll get into why that's a huge thing. But so this is an interview that they had, and I just want you to listen and catch some of the important themes that come up here.
Service delivery on the ground, which is what local government is about.
Okay.
Bottom line. And to answer I'm answering still your callers, because they're asking the good questions here.
You don't have to insult us into like...
You're insulting me.
We're asking you good questions. We didn't insult you once. We're asking you good questions.
I want to tell you.
You don't have to get defensive.
I'm not defensive. I'm on the attack. I'm on the attack.
Because the first insult that was thrown was that none of us in this studio are asking good questions.
Well, you are.
You don't have to.
That's a fact.
This is going to be a partnership.
You don't have to be insulted by the facts.
This is going to be a partnership. We run Joburg as well as you.
I think you get the point. Helen Zille is running for mayor of Johannesburg, which I'll pass it to you just now to get your thoughts. But just to give people context, Helen Zille is running for mayor, which so far has been a stupid race. It frustrates me because, first of all, I think everyone should care about the Joburg mayoral race, unfortunately, which all of us, no one wants to care. We all don't want to care. Because it's all a lot, like there's a lot happening with these petty politics. But Joburg is the economic center of South Africa and actually maybe Africa. It's the economic center of all of that, of the social dynamics of South Africa. They emerge from Johannesburg. So unfortunately, we have to care because whoever is control of Johannesburg has control of South Africa in many ways. And Helen Zille, as we know, she's a DA person. We associated with DA, with Cape Town. She lives in Cape Town. She's lived in Cape Town for a long time. On the interview, she said that she's qualified to run Joburg, which I'll address the qualification part because she is qualified. But she said that she can run Joburg even without living here now because she grew up in Joburg. I think she went to school in Joburg. Helen Zille is like 75 years old.
Yep.
So that was 50 years. We're going to keep electing very old people because they're the only ones running. So the Joburg mayoral race is very important because right now in Joburg, we have so many crises. And the GNU government, obviously, it's the ANC that's leading, and there's the DA, and there's Mkhonto weSizwe, and then there's Patriotic Alliance. So they are the people that are kind of ruling things in many ways. And in Joburg, we have a mayor. I think his name is Dada Morero, if I'm not mistaken. He's the worst mayor that Joburg has had. He had a thing. I couldn't believe that this was real. I thought they were framing him. I had to read the article myself. Last year in August, I remember when they were asking him about like Joburg and what he's gonna do, because it's like 2 years, because the local elections for mayor, I think we're gonna vote towards the end of 2026. So there's still a lot of time. And then it was like, no, things are so bad in Joburg and I don't have time that we shouldn't expect anything from him. Can you imagine a mayor saying that out loud, saying, don't expect anything from me?
That is so wild.
And then after that, we find out that because Johannesburg has a huge water issue, like water is always going out. It started because that's how it always starts. It's like a clash issue. It always starts in the poor areas and then it escalates and then it starts affecting the fancy areas now. It starts affecting the rich people where people can't do business because they don't have water. And then we found out when they were doing an audit that there's a 4 billion rand that just disappeared within this last year that was supposed to go to maintaining water, equipment and infrastructure and all of that just disappeared while we're having all of this crisis. So we're having the worst mayor, and the people that are running, last time I checked, the other parties hadn't announced who their candidates were. But I know, I don't think even ANC had announced. So the only people that I know personally is Helen Zille and the very unserious Kenny Gunene for the Patriotic Alliance, which he'll come up on the Madlanga Commission segment. It's just a very unserious race. But let me hear you first before I go, because I get frustrated by this stuff. Helen Zille is running for mayor. Thandiwe, how are you voting?
How? What's happened?
First question.
What's happened there? I mean, just listen to that snippet that you played with Anele. I mean, she sounds very defensive and also condescending. I mean, what is a good question?
Yep, exactly. So, not just that, she said you don't speak for black people when it sounds like the moment where I go abalungu. Yeah.
You know, when your white friend says to you that I'm not racist.
Yeah.
My best friend is black.
Yep.
So I mean, what the F is that about the fact that you asking good questions? I mean, we should ask whatever questions we want to ask.
Yeah.
You in the hot seat.
You here for
them.
exactly.
But before I get on to even Helen, right?
Yeah.
Just you touched a point on water. I mean, us in the suburbs experience water cuts, but there's some people who are going through serious water issues where it's not just their water has been cut for months, but the water that they get is filthy. So on delivery, if we just look at delivery in terms of Joburg, we've got a lot of issues, right? And it's so sad that the people in the suburbs only feel affected when it comes closer to them.
Agreed.
And it's like you have to realize whether there is the poor, the rich, the in the middle, it's a chain and it's going to affect you at some point if you sit down and do nothing. Look at where the potholes are now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you were like,
the robots
in my area,
in Bryanston,
it's not gonna, when load shedding was happening, you were like, we've got a minister that lives in the area. We don't get affected by, but eventually, everybody gets affected. Guys, Helen Zille, why is she still given airtime?
It's so you know the sad thing about this.
I thought she left the DA.
She's still in the DA, though she did say that if it comes down to it, she would leave the DA to dedicate her time to be mayor, because I guess she is kind of becoming. I mean, she'll never be irrelevant in the DA. She's one of the more. Is there a more powerful woman politician in the last 20 years more than Helen Zille? She's like top of the food chain, and it is sad.
Well,
for
there
me.
was Patricia.
Not even close to Helen. Helen is the big dog, and with Helen Helen for me and I want to declare my bias first, so that everyone who's listening they don't find something else I said later and said, yeah, but don't take anything I say as objective. It's my opinion, so it's going to be filtered through my bias. Bias number one: I don't like Helen Zille. I think Helen Zille is a dishonest person in conversations. And of course, I don't know her personally. So I'm talking about Helen Zille, the politician, the one that I've been exposed to. I think she's very dishonest in conversations. And I have been seeing her run now as mayor. Every time she gets asked about an issue that has to do with the socio-cultural dynamics in South Africa, she gets very defensive, and she attacks whoever's. I saw her do the same thing to Sizwe Mpofu-Walsh, who's a very generous interviewer. Like, he was very nice to her, and then he just asked her one question about Gaza, and she just started falling apart. And I'm like, Helen, it's complicated because unfortunately the ANC has put us in a position where she is the most qualified in the race, which is horrific. She is the most qualified in the race, but she's also the same person that has tweeted defending apartheid, saying that things were better in apartheid than now. She's the same person that says that genocide is a big word to use for Gaza. She's really, when it comes to like a human perspective, those issues because if you're running for mayor, yes, we want water, yes, we want all of those things as service delivery. But at the same time, you are being elected as a leader. You are being elected in a country that's like South Africa. So I think anyone that is running for any political position in a country like South Africa, you can't try to separate the two, because that's Helen Zille's argument, and that's what a lot of the arguments that her supporters make. They're like, no, but she's going to restore water, she's going to restore electricity. It doesn't matter if she's a little racist. It doesn't matter if all of those things. It doesn't matter if she didn't walk back her comments that South Africa was better in the apartheid government, with her constantly saying, Joburg in its glory days, when I lived here. Remember, she lived here 50 years ago. What was happening in South Africa 50 years ago? Apartheid. So we can't separate that, and I think Helen Zille needs to realize that as much as she is qualified on paper, just as a politician based on her resume from Cape Town, we can also discuss that in Cape Town, because what makes us nervous as Joburg citizens is that yes, she's qualified on paper, and in Joburg and in Cape Town she do wonders for the city, but only for the areas that are consistent with her skin color. So that's another factor that we have to consider. It's not like she went to Kailicha and she made things better. She went to the Cape Flats and she made things better. It's just certain areas. So we have to be like, okay, maybe she will make things better in Sandton, but we should think about the people in Alex, the people in Tsakane where I'm from, the people because that whole place is Joburg. So if she's still at a place where she's not even ready to talk about the potential layers and the potential perception that people might have over black people. I mean, Anela was very direct. You can't be more direct than that, where Anela was like, yo, the perception of you is this. And she kindly asked her the question, and that was a chance for her to address it maybe and say, that was a long time. Like, whatever. The ANC has set the bar so low that we can forgive just say whatever. And she was like, no, you don't speak for black people. So if someone says if a black person says something that is negative to her or that she perceives as negative, then she just dismisses as, oh no, that's just an outlier. Everyone else is fine. We saw what you did to Musi Maimane as well. We know Helen.
Yeah, so I mean, it does matter. Whatever little things that she has said that have been unfavorable to her track record, it matters. Absolutely. Because those little things add up to bigger things. Yeah. Right? So we can't wait for her to be in power.
For us to see and find out.
For us to be like, what did we do? So I've got one word for Helen.
Yeah.
Suka.
What?
Hamba.
But
Stay where you are at.
a fair point that
Bloom
people are
where you
bringing
were
up.
planted.
Bloom where you. I've never heard that. That's great. That's Chakra Hunt this thing. I do want to ask, if not Helen, then who?
How?
Again,
Wasn't Herman Mashaba doing a great job?
But he's not running. He's irrelevant to this because he's not. I guess we don't know who ANC is gonna put forward. But again, this is the ANC that is. No, not ANC. I don't want us to. I feel like we're in a weird relationship with the ANC. We know that from this commission that's happening, which we're going to talk about in a bit, that Gauteng, they've said Gauteng, even more than KZN, Gauteng and KZN are the organized crime hubs in South Africa. And whoever is control of Gauteng, that's who, I mean, it's in Gauteng where Vusiket Matlala, the biggest underworld boss, was being given blue lights and walking around like the police with his VIP service security company being given government stuff and government infrastructure for him to harass people. Crazy. So it does feel like things are a bit dangerous at the hands of the ANC in Johannesburg, because previously I thought it was just a few rotten apples. I don't know. I was so naive about the ANC. I was like, I haven't liked the ANC a long time, but I still thought there was a ceiling at some point to the corruption. But now I've realized that it is so bad. It's like international drug trade, kidnapping trade, insurance scams. It's so big and it's being enabled by politicians. They're in the pocket. And it's so interesting because there's a book I read one of these weeks of, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting her name. I'll need to look it up. This lady from Cape Town who wrote this book kind of mapping out the systems of corruption in South Africa, which again, the center is very much in Gauteng. It's so crazy that you can't separate the ANC from organized crime and drug trafficking, because the ANC was a banned party when they were still doing the good work back in the days. They were a banned party. And of course, to do the work that they did, you need a lot of money, you need a lot of funding. So a lot of them got involved with organized crime in order to fund the struggle. And this is not unique to South Africa. We see it all the time. We saw it with the Black Panthers in America, where a lot of them were involved with a lot of illicit trade in order to buy guns, to buy whatever equipment that they need to fight the government. And then the question becomes, when now the ANC was no longer banned, when democracy came, did those people leave that life or did they stay there? And all indications point that they didn't leave that life. And they've been in it so long that they like bosses. When you hear like their names and the way they come up and the way they've been coming up, you realize that these are not politicians that are bought, because that would almost be a good scenario where it's a corrupt politician that is being bought and we can remove them. But what if that corrupt politician is the actual boss? Is the actual crime? It gets crazy. So I get nervous about the ANC having access to so many things because I've seen what they've done. And I'm also nervous because the other candidate, very unserious candidate, is Kenny Kunene, who was, by the way, just if we're forgetting, how are we forgetting this? Kenny Kunene just a few weeks ago was found at the house when they went, was it the Hawks that went to the house of the guy that is responsible for the murder of DJ Somebody. Sure. Kenny Kunene was found in that house and he was questioned and there was no evidence and he was released. And then now, of course, Gayton McKenzie has been on a campaign saying he's been cleared of all charges. That's my friend. If the ANC doesn't reinstate him in whatever positions, we're going to withdraw the PA from the GNU. And the ANC did cave. And so I don't know what Gayton McKenzie has on them. I'm not going to speculate. So that's very unserious for me. I don't even want to consider them, which again leaves us with Helen. All roads, unfortunately, keep coming back to Helen Zille if we're talking about even basic functions. And that's unfortunate because I'm like, I don't ever see myself in life voting for Helen Zille.
But why?
But
guys?
if I'm on a ballot paper and I'm faced with Gayton McKenzie and his cronies, and I'm faced with one of the ANC, like the people, maybe if they bring back Herman Mashaba, we can have another conversation. We'll see the development. And you're faced with Helen Zille. Who do you go with in that?
So maybe just listen to you speak, Thula.
Right.
Maybe the mayors of the different provinces should not belong to any political party.
Agreed. That's brilliant. I fully agree with
maybe that. It needs to come into the law. And then speaking about the ANC
That won't happen,
and
no.
corruption,
Yeah.
right? So I am part of ANC from the liberation struggle.
Right.
By the time South Africa became a democratic country,
Yeah.
these people were old, but those were the
original-
real GOATs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The real goats.
Yeah. Who actually believed in something.
Yeah, and it wasn't about living in Sandton or in
And
the suburb,
mansions,
having
yeah.
a big house and a car.
Right.
They really were about the struggle and the freedom of the people and equal rights for the people. Especially, I mean, my grandparents were very much advocates for African education because Bantu education was so terrible.
Yeah.
So
And we're still seeing those
very
effects.
disturbing when Helen Zille says things like she wishes things went back to the way apartheid was.
Yeah.
There were a lot of things that were not okay.
Yeah, well, most things were
Yeah.
only okay for
Yes.
the minority, the 9%.
Maybe the way they run things
Yeah.
felt orderly, but no.
I mean, it's easy to be orderly when you're only providing services to a small, tiny group of
You
people.
know?
Hospitals are not going to get overloaded if majority of the country, which is people of color, are not getting those services.
Yeah.
So it's easy for those people to be nostalgic about a past and service delivery when most of our parents weren't even benefiting from all of that. So we'll see. And my prediction is that Helen will win.
No,
That's my
she
prediction.
cannot win.
Helen Zille will.
Why? Who's voting for her?
Helen Zille does
Can't
not
it-
have
how
a
many-
competition.
Okay,
in
but
this.
how many white people are in this country?
Enough. But and the white people have the money. They find the DA, bruh. Are we forgetting that the DA is the only party in South Africa that's giving the ANC a run for their money? The DA is the only, not even EFF, not even MK, nothing is close. If the ANC falls, which I think it might, like in maybe the next 2 elections, if it falls, the DA is good. The DA has been on a rise.
Really? Is it not MK that's leading?
No, it's ANC, it's DA very close, and then there's a significant gap, and then it's MK and EFF. The
Interesting.
DA is on a huge. I mean, they don't just have control; they have a lot of metros now. They have. Is it in the Eastern Cape? Nelson Mandela, whatever that metro is. They have a lot of. The DA is here. They are the biggest nuisance to the ANC.
Look,
So you can't underestimate
I mean,
the
they
DA.
work hard and
They are shrewd
They are
politicians.
knocking on everyone's door,
Then they're
right?
funding.
Because I get phone calls from the DA, and I'm like, why am I getting phone calls from the DA?
The DA
they
has
work
funding.
really hard.
Yeah, I do see them. Like I remember even last year when we were voting, when you go like you're on that long voting line, and of course each party has their stand, whatever. There's the ANC one. The ANC, of course, is the people with the yellow, whatever, and then there's the EFF, and then the TA. It's a very nice tent with a nice shade. You're like, oh, these people have funding.
They even give you fruit.
They give you food, like, and nice food, not just food. So not just KFC. So the DA has a lot of funding, so it can never be underestimated. And it's not just white people. I think you'd be surprised at how many black people are willing to elect Helen Zille, not because they don't know her past and the things that she's said and whatever, but because they like, because that's what we've been reduced to in South Africa. We've
She's
been
got
reduced
promise.
to, not necessarily, not even that. That's even high.
Yeah.
Take it lower than that, because she's the least evil on the
really?
option. I think that's what we've been reduced to in South Africa, where when you vote, there isn't anything that is good. There's no like candidate that's actually. It's just you doing an inimanimo on who do you think will do less damage, the least damage. Damage is gonna be done, but who's gonna steal the least? Who's gonna? I think that's unfortunately where we are.
Yeah, I wish we were like America. America, before elections happen, you know, like a whole history of whoever
The people
is. Yeah,
and-
and I actually wanted to do like a documentary on our different parties and their history and what's their track record, like the past year.
That would be good. You should do that.
What have they done?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's not just about all talk and everything that you are saying. It's What have you done?
Yeah. I think, unfortunate, I think for the bigger parties, there's going to be a lot of meat on that bone for your documentary. But I think my conspiracy theory is that whenever like voting is about to happen, you see a lot of these small parties start to emerge. Parties that, like you said, we don't know what they've done. They seem to have no history, but all of a sudden their posters are everywhere. Who's funding these parties? My theory is that I think they are intentionally trying to divide the vote, particularly the black vote, because I think there was a time where the ANC was so low. Even in the last election, the ANC had a historical fall. Like if they had to do the GNU, because for the first time ever, they didn't have the majority. So they couldn't lead the country alone. They had to partner with these smaller parties. There, of course, after that, if it's not the ANC, then we're going to look for the next best, which is either going to be the EFF or MK Party. I don't like MK Party. I don't understand what people see there. Maybe you like, I need convincing. It feels kind of backwards for me, MK Party, in many ways. But anyways, so they know that we're going to go to those. And so all of a sudden we get very inundated with a large number of parties. Now Musa Maimane has a party and now he has a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And now this person, everyone is convinced that they can be president, instead of being like, okay, let's find. And if you really want to change the world, as Thandiwe, in politics, I wouldn't advise you to now, especially in the context of South Africa, to go start your own party. I would advise you to find whatever party that you think you can make a difference in and lock in there, unless, of course, you can't find.
But it depends the kind of image that party has. Look, Thula, the last election, what I noticed is that I had followed certain small parties by their actions for like a year. Yeah. And what I notice happens is that they work so hard to prove that they are the ones that can make a real positive change. By the time they get to parliament, it's all like,
they're just happy. I saw that with Gayton McKenzie.
Look at me, I'm at parliament. And then
they're not ready to fight.
And then I guess when they're at parliament, it's probably like your toxic environment type of office space.
And they get shell shocked.
Then you're part of it. And then people are like, listen here. Just because you made it here don't mean that you are there.
History, there's like 30 years of politics and history within.
Unfortunately, I think a lot of that happens where you like, I'm fighting for the people and look at my track record, and then you get to parliament and they put you in your place, burst your bubble, and you now no longer, you lose the vision.
Right. Because that actually happens a lot. Like a lot of these people that today are selling out the country, that today vote against our interest in parliament, were people that got there because they were like the biggest activists in their schools, they actually believed in whatever the thing is, and then they got there. It's either the politics broke them, because there are serious politics. But I still think that for the state that South Africa is in now, small parties are a lie. I really think small parties are important. For opposition, you need opposition. But I still think that they are a lie in terms of they give us false hope, because once in a while, you'll see when elections come up, there's going to be a new person that's just great. Vusi Thembekwa is going to run for election and be like, hi, I'm going to change. I'm the different one. I'm whatever. And then we're like, yeah, really, I didn't want to vote ANC or DA, whatever. They're all corrupt, because we have a lot of history about them. So we know their corruption. Then we go to this person. This person, like you said, is going to get there. They don't have any structural power. I think there's a lot of structural like knowledge and inner knowledge you need to have in parliament to make any kind of change.
And to be a leader, to make a real positive, you need backbone.
And experience.
Like real backbone. Yeah. That when they come with their bodyguards and their whatever, I won't be intimidated. I'm going to still fight for. You need a 1976 type of youth.
But to that point,
situation where it's like, I will die for my country. Yeah. I don't care how many millions you put in my bank accounts.
Which, good luck for you. I absolutely have a sellout number. I don't want to lie. That's a wild statement. No matter how much you put in my account,
dude,
I think I have a number. Okay, let me ask you.
These days, money speaks.
What do you think is your number? Wait, take a second. Don't say it too quickly. What do you think? And I want it to be significant in that. Not just for you to like waste time in parliament, but for you, for example, not something as dark as you being involved with criminal organized crime, but for you, let's say you have a position as a minister of something and you have an opportunity to be like, you get whatever the number is, for you to just not act. Because that's what we'll get there, because I see that's the emerging trend that I'm seeing in this commission, that a lot of people are technically not guilty because they didn't actively do anything, but they're guilty by not doing anything. Where it's like, it's your job for you when this is happening for you to stop it. So you didn't stop it because you want to say, hey, I don't know, I didn't. But anyways, and I think they paid to do that. Do you think you have a number for you to sell out black people?
The thing is, for me, it's about character.
I'll take that as a yes. You have a number.
My character is I will do the right thing. If I am, for example, I'm in ministry right now, for you to get to that point, right?
Right.
You can't be like, okay, now I'm gonna, be shady. So for me to get to that point in politics, right, to be of influence.
No, but they don't do that. See, that's a very good point. Like what you're saying is very logical if things happened in the logical way. Because yes, ideally for you to get to a place of prominence where you even considered for running for something, there's a great track record you need to have. But that's not how things are happening because of funding and money. Like I said, these small parties, it's a random person that rises up within like 2, 3, 4 years. That is now all of a sudden the main talk during election time when we don't know anything about this person. That's just about marketing and money and putting this person in front of people. So now it's not even about that. So say now you are in ministry right now and they're like, look, college for your kids covered. Look, everything in your life covered. We don't even want you to do extreme. We're not saying go be a devil worshipper. We're just saying that instead of this ministry, come do work for that ministry. You'll still be doing the work of God. Just leave this ministry.
I stand for the right thing. I would never sell out anyone. If anything,
50 million.
I always play the good cop. I'm always like, hey, when I'm that person.
And then do you think your kids would be mad at you when they're older and you tell them, Guti, my legacy to you guys is a good heart. I stood up for the good thing instead of 100 million. Do you think your kids will be happy?
My kids, they're such good kids. I think they'll be on my side.
Okay, that's a good one.
My kids will be on that side. We very much as a family, we about
aligned
doing
the same.
Doing the right thing, and it's so important. So, for example, I understand teamwork, right? So I've got a bit of a situation right now with somebody in ministry, right? So what
kind of situation? Okay,
it's a situation, and I'm just like, no,
in
dude,
ministry.
I don't care if you're doing a crap job and you're not doing whatever. Forget spirit. It's not about spiritual. There must be order in spirituality as well. I'm gonna report your ass.
I like that.
Yeah.
Shout out to the snitches.
I'm gonna report you.
Shout out to the ethical snitches.
And things will be done right. You can't come here and be bullying me, spiritually bullying me, right?
And use your power.
Bring all your verses. You've been here for however amount of time. Regardless of that, the right thing is the right thing. And if you're doing the shit thing, I'm going to fucking report you.
That's kind of crazy.
Motherfucker.
That's kind of crazy. I wouldn't like that. I would want if I'm in ministry and you are my person that I chose and we're together. If it's I understand maybe it's not there. I don't know where you guys are. I would want you to call me out, yes, but you can't report me.
Dude,
not report.
The thing is, no, you call them out. You kind of like try to sort things
internally.
out. But they think because everyone is fighting for power.
True.
It's that whole thing of like, and we're not getting paid. None of us are getting paid.
You do it because of the love.
The jealousy, people fighting for whatever. And I'm like, I'm not here to kind of like
for your self glorification.
No,
and to be
I'm here to do this for God's people.
Sure. No,
I get you. Do you understand what I mean?
No, that's very nice. I'd say Thandiwe for this session is the good person. I think I have a number. I don't know what the number is.
What is your number?
I haven't thought about it because I also think I also like to think I don't. But I'm like, I think I have too many. Okay, here's the thing about me that makes me think I might have a number. I like to think I wouldn't, I have too many moments of existential angst. I'm like, since I was a kid, like that's been my my personal hell in many ways. I get every once in a while something, nothing even needs to happen. Like something happens in my brain where it almost feels like I like look at the world is here, and I'm like, this is all bullshit. There's nothing, like there's no point. I get very like existentially anxious, where I'm like
meaningless.
Where I'm like the absolute meaningless of it is crazy. Not just for humans, but on the animal kingdom. Like I love watching animals, whatever. The senseless way they die and I'm like, so I feel like if you can catch me at the right time and just like off where you like, you can go and suffer about the existential angst, but you can do that in a nice, comfortable place. I don't know. I think I might be like, hey, even if I regret it later.
Different strokes for different folks, right?
With that said, I do want to just recap. We're not going to stick to it much longer because, like I said, I think we're going to end slightly early. But I want to recap just the Madlanga Commission. By the time this drops, there'll be so many things that would have happened already. Yeah. But we are recapping. We're recording on the weekend, so we're recapping week 2 of the Madlanga Commission. The last time we spoke about it, Onim Kwanazi had testified. This week we had 3 people that testified. It was the National Commissioner, which I was looking forward to, General Masemola, and then we had General Van Rooyen, who is the legal, I forget her exact title, but she's the legal team in the police, whatever. And then we had, I forget, oh my God, I'm forgetting the one black woman that I'm forgetting the name. I'll search it, I'll put it on the screen. I'm sorry. I forget it. It's these people that do important but boring jobs. I forget them because I'm like...
Important but boring
jobs. Which is good. Those are important. Anyways, she's the leader of the NPA. I really liked her. I thought she actually gave a better testimony than Van Rooyen, than General Van Rooyen. But anyways, we'll start with Masemola. So Masemola obviously is a big one in this because he's the national commissioner. Mkwanazi is a provincial commissioner. So he's the top cop in KZN. Mkwanazi. Masemola is the top cop in South Africa. He's the number 1. He's like numero uno of police in South Africa because he's the main guy. He's the boss of everyone, and then he reports to the minister, and the minister reports to the president. So once you get to Masemola, the line is very short to the president. It's like it's top of the top. And few interesting things emerged from this testimony. It started off very slow. I was kind of happy that Mkwanazi was the first person to testify because Mkwanazi is very charismatic. He's very detail oriented. He's very, like, there's nothing that you'll say to catch him off guard. Like, he's very awake. He's very alert. And Masemola is not like that. I don't know if because he's older or whatever. He's very slow, needed things to be repeated a lot. But we did get to the information. So I'm happy that Mkwanazi started, mainly because this is not a court of law. A commission is not a court of law. In many ways, it's a court of public opinion. Because like I said, they don't have legal powers. The only thing that they can do is recommend to the president at the end, who, if the president is implicated, probably won't do anything about the results, but the public, we would have seen. So it's important for us and our voting decisions and for us to really know what's happening in the country. Unfortunately, it doesn't go further than that as far as we can tell now. So I'm happy that Mkwanazi started so everyone gets involved. Masemola tied the president to this because he said that he had a conversation with the Minister of Police, Senzo Mchunu, who was instructing him to say, you need to disband this. And he showed the email. The email, it's crazy how urgent the email was. It was like, you need to disband this task team that's been working and bringing arrests these last few years, that has active witnesses that we're protecting, that has prosecutors, that has a whole system, because this is not some small time. It's a huge, and it had recently gotten praise from the president, from everyone, that it's bringing in more political arrests than any other time in history. So their achievements are not even in question. They were doing well. And then just in one day, it was an email that said, this needs to happen immediately. You need to stop this task team. You need to, and then he said, Mkhunu says, political killings in South Africa stopped in 1995. So there's no need for any political killings task team. So there's no politician or political that has happened, according to him, since 1995. Insane. He thinks we're babies. So
yeah, I was just about to say lies.
What? Not even lies. It's not even some things. I'm like, it's you saying this is blue. It's like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
And so, anyways, to cut it short, so he says that Masamula says that he communicated with the president. This is the second time, to remind everyone, the president is coming up in this. Kwanaze said the same thing. He communicated with the president and said, President, here's this thing with this task team. They want to disband it. Mkhunu is very insistent. He wants it done immediately, even when Masemula is like, okay, fine, we're gonna disband it, but let's do it slowly because there are witnesses that have to be protected. There's cases that are active. There's like, it's a real world here. This is not. He was like, no, immediately, and then he went. Is like, yo, he doesn't want. And then the president, of course, his reaction always, he was shocked. The president is always shocked.
I'm so shocked.
That's his move. He was shocked, but Mkhunu says. He talked to the president and the president agreed he was very much in support of this, which I am more inclined to believe Mkhunu, because if the president didn't want it to happen, it wouldn't have happened. So the fact that it ended up happening, even though it is hearsay at this point, maybe the president was lying to Mkhunu, but again, if the president, one thing that the presidency can't say, because they've been very silent as a team, one thing the presidency can't say is that the president wasn't aware. We know, we have multiple accounts in Kwanazi that the president was aware. The question now is, if the president ends up getting implicated in this, because they finalized the witness list on Friday, there was this very long meeting where the ad hoc committee in Parliament was finalizing the witnesses that are going to appear. And the president was like number one, where they're like, the president needs to come before this committee and he needs to account. He needs to say his role. Was he aware what was happening? Is there a reason? He just needs to reply to all of these things that have been mentioned, because it goes all the way to the top more than the president being implicated. So do you think if the president is implicated in this, because again, the report goes back to his desk, what's next then for South Africans? Say we've found out all these things we've found out from this commission. Let's say we confirm that the president is implicated, because there's still a lot of evidence coming. What? You see, it made me just deflated, because I'm like,
can we just have order in this country?
Nah, bruh.
Why is there so much drama? Why there's soapies
and not just like, drama, very evil, sinister, sinister drama, very, very sinister.
So
drama.
now we're looking for a mayor, we're looking for a president. Maybe we're just gonna become what?
You know what?
No president, no mayor. The people must run the country now. Who's gonna run the country now?
The elites would never let the people run the country.
Oh my word!
I will say my first prediction for this, which I do want you guys to hold me to it. I said I think Helen Zille would win. My second one is that if
no, you're not a prophet now. Are you?
No, not a prophet. Just me looking at the picture and be like, this is what the tea leaves read like for me. I think the president, if something else happens and he gets implicated even more, because again, this is nothing new. The ANC did this, and they did this with Zuma. They did this. I think they're going to take all the burden and they're going to put it on the minister, Senzo Mkhunu. We're going to see Senzo Mkhunu come out and confess and say, hey, I'm going to step down permanent. Because right now he is suspended. But I don't think he's officially left his position. So he's going to come out and say it was me, because that's what they scapegoat one person. It's going to say it's him. Yeah. Or if the president is implicated, they're going to Zuma him. They're going to do what they did to Jacob Zuma, where it's like...
But didn't he want to resign like so many...
I remember in the beginning. I do remember in the beginning.
I don't know how invested he is in his presidency. This guy, I don't think he wants to be in that position.
This is, by the way...
He's been forced to be in that position.
He's been a very absent father to the country.
No.
Which I need to remind the nation that this is the same Ramaphosa that was found with millions of dollars under his couch.
Wow.
That he did not report to SARS, to the police, as the same method that we saw from I think Sergio, who is a close friend of Ket Matlala, who said that he even went to jail for it. He said that that's their main method of money laundering. They
They
have a way to stitch the couch so that the couch looks new. There's no hole in the couch.
I think
it looks new.
I think Ramaphosa has been hanging around too many Chinese. Because those are the only people that I know of that actually put money under the mattress. I mean,
this is
so we shouldn't. Heck?
So Ramaphosa, there's nothing about him that should surprise us as a country, but we do get in very sticky situations if Ramaphosa is implicated directly. I do think that's unlikely. A president is so protected. It's really, there's going to be multiple smaller politicians that are going to be sacrificed. They're going to give them money to sail off into the sunsets. And
truth, eh?
And then they drop the case.
It's the truth.
So unfortunately, that's the recap of the Madlanga Commission. I don't want to depress people by going too deep into it. But I do think that we are in a very weird place, because I think even the witnesses that we've had so far, for me, they've said enough. We heard from the legal aspect that said, in plain words, this was illegal. You can't do that. You cannot consult with these, because the legal team, the task team is attached to a legal team that has to prosecute the cases, and that has to vet the legality of everything they investigating. So it's not just some tiny group working in a storage room. People like to paint. I've been seeing the media trying to paint Mkhwana as like he's some lone wolf that's working. Mkhwana in his press conference said that we are many. Yeah. He said that there's a group of us, which is what maybe still gives me a bit of hope. He said there's a group of us, it's not just me, that are in government. Others I won't mention because, they next to the people. There are a lot of us that actually want to do the right thing, and we are actively colluding to make things better. So I'm hoping something comes from that. We also had, like I said, the NPA person that was talking, and it seems like she also, again, she falls into the theme of these people knew that this was happening, this was being disbanded, but they didn't want to lose their jobs. They didn't want to do it, so they kept quiet. They didn't actively help, but by not doing anything, they essentially helped. They didn't want to do what Mkhwanazi did, to be like, I'm going to put myself in harm's way because I swore an oath. And all of these people, by the way, are government employees. They swore an oath. They are officials. These are trained people. These are not like you and I being scared. That would be understandable. I'm just a citizen. These are people who that's written into their work. That's the work.
They did the liar detector test.
Yeah, they did.
Situation.
So that's that. And then that's the heavy stuff out of the. I mean, we're gonna go to more heavy stuff. That's the heavy stuff out of the way. I do want to talk. So in this one, I've been looking forward to what you're gonna say about it all week. The Rapture story.
Oh my God!
Just to give people context. So recently, a KPMG, is that the company?
Yes.
A trainee, guys. The bravado of a trainee. An intern.
I remember when I started out working in my early 20s. Yeah. You're very brave, man. You're like, because you know nothing. God. So you just like,
you don't know what you don't know.
Yes. So you go for it, whatever, you know. Wow.
So a KPMG trainee sent out a mass email to all KPMG employees. And when I say all, I actually mean all. I don't mean South Africans, because this is an international conglomerate. Corporate, it's everywhere. It's in Italy. So she was trending in Italy, in the US, in everywhere in the world. They sent
Can she run for president?
She won't be here. She'll be raptured. She won't be here. So she sent and she said, and so she took it further, because it would be one thing if the email was just a simple, okay, by the way, the email said that Jesus is coming back. I have a date. I heard from him personally. On the 23rd, between the 23rd and the 24th of September, right? Which obviously have passed by the time of this recording.
Yeah.
And she said, which is Feast of the Trumpets. I think that's what it's called in Revelation. So she said, that's what's going to happen. And then she started to get specific, which is where it got a bit dark. Because I think initially people were like, she's having a mental health crisis. But then she attached a document on that email that's like a 123-page document. That's essentially a manifesto. It's what terrorists write on these things, where she's like, yo, by the way, do you guys in the office in Joburg, that office corner number 5, that girl that's in that office is a Muslim, and that's where the devil is congregating. And she started getting very like very specific, attacking people, saying they working for the devil and what. And so that's where I guess it crossed for KPMG. I mean, the email itself was already a fireable offense, but that's where she crossed, I guess, free religious practice. Because in South Africa, you are free to do all that stuff, but obviously you can't demonize like other people like that, especially on that kind of platform. And then, of course, the date passed, and then she kept quiet for a few days. And then she posted and she said, God has given us more time. We need to be grateful for it. She didn't take any accountability. And you need to remember that this is not, because this kind of story.
So did God come back to her, or was it Jesus come back to her?
We don't know.
And say that I've given you more time. So how long do we have, Thula?
We don't know. We will hear from her when she decides to speak. But here's the thing, because this is on the surface. It's a funny story. I've been laughing at it a lot, and you've sent me
Are
some
you sure
funny.
Are you sure you've been laughing, or you were scared that we were all gonna die?
No. I mean, that wouldn't be there's worse things than death. I think that wouldn't be the worst case scenario for the world.
Exactly.
But also I will say
There's worse things than death.
Absolutely. And it was absolutely fine when it was still fun and games, until I saw that, I don't know if it started with her or she was part of a thing, but it started a real mass hysteria where people, even in the US, people were selling their cars, their houses, people were taking their kids out from
is so
school.
wild.
I mean, the same thing that she did with the image, that was her essentially quitting her job, and not her job, her career. She'll never work in corporate again, that kind of corporate.
Yeah.
So that was that same energy where people were doing that. Imagine your colleague. How would you work with someone who thinks next week the world is ending? How is that a working dynamic? Her family. Can you imagine the kind of damage that she, not just her, but the people that believed that they've done? It gets dark. I feel like then the least you owe us when you're wrong is some kind of accountability. To say, give us more details. Like, you can't just say, because the only thing that she came and said was like, we must be grateful God gave us more time. Bye. She didn't.
Wow. After
I think you owe us a bit more than
that.
I think you owe people a bit more than that. Even though I do feel for her, which I know people are going to kill me for this, but because I was saying to Kopano earlier that I feel like with this one, usually when people do these kind of predictions and they're grifting and they're lying and they know they're lying, they give a buffer for themselves. They like, the world is going to end on the 23rd unless I pray, unless I do this, unless you give me your wife. They have all of these things.
Yeah.
And then when it doesn't happen, they say, you should be lucky. I prayed. I did say if I pray. She didn't give herself that buffer. She was like, no, this is absolutely going to happen. And when you see her videos, she believed it. So with her, I say I empathize with her because I don't think she was lying. I think the thing she said was a lie, but I think she believed it. I think she was within that. And so there's a part of me that's like, is she okay? How is she coping? Because her world did just crumble.
Yeah. I mean, this is the case where religion becomes extreme. And besides religion becoming extreme, religion is actually man-made to actually separate us.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
You know, so we all spiritual beings. You know, I'm religious, but I'm not that extreme. I feel
really
that
not.
I feel that I'm more spiritual, and also the Bible, like the Bible, Jesus spoke in parables.
Right.
So even when you are reading the Bible,
kind of
you
open.
meditating on the Bible, you need to be wise,
Right.
and discern.
There's a poetry.
Yes, you need to discern. You can't take everything literally, you know?
Yeah.
So, I think it's just one of those cases where it's just very extreme. I've been in an extreme church, you know, where it's just all talk about witchcraft. And if you hug this person, if you kiss this person,
oh my
if
God,
you
what
have,
year is
if
this?
you have a tattoo, if you wear XYZ, if you put on nail polish, if you wear earrings, if you put on makeup, you know.
Yeah. It's just about policing people's bodies.
You are possessed, and you've got the Jezebel spirit. There's something wrong with you, you know.
Yeah.
So I think as a nation, as a people, as spiritual beings,
right,
we always have to really kind of, use our discernment when such things are, because she could have been possessed by the devil.
Yeah, it could be a different spirit that's talking.
You know, it's a different spirit that is talking.
Yeah.
But also it's the same thing about what happened years ago when those people were told to take doom, to eat grass. I mean,
that feels like it was a different world. That did happen.
Like you're looking at it, you're hearing that story, and you're like thinking, didn't these people know that like eating grass?
Yeah, I think it's past
or
logic.
Spraying doom into your body is really not gonna, save you. And so many people hear from Jesus, so many people hear from God. But I think at the end of the day, you have to discern and see, like, is this and mental issues are real, hey? Especially with people with religious beliefs. I mean, just think about suicide bombers.
Yeah, they have their own beliefs.
Like, is that really?
Yeah. Religion
to be bombing this whole area and killing the people? Is it really for the glory of God?
Religion gets complicated when we start talking about mental health and psychosis, because like on the DSM-5, I'm a med school dropout, so I did a bit of psychiatry.
Yeah.
And I remember, so with psychosis, the fundamental aspect of what is said as a psychosis is that you need to be, because as human beings, we have a shared reality.
Yeah.
We have things we agree on that are basic. This is a microphone. This, like I said, this is clear glass. This is black. This is whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of boxes you need to tick for you to be diagnosed. Doctors don't just diagnose and say whatever. And so religion gets complicated because it skirts that line a lot of time. A lot of religion, even spirituality, it does not rely on shared reality. Mm-hmm. You can say, you have a gift, there's something that you're seeing, whatever, and you might very well be right. But I can be coming from just a shared reality perspective and say, okay, but that is obviously not true. But obviously I'm referring to the normal laws of the land that we all agreed on, that science proved and all of that.
Yeah, and the blueprint.
Yeah, and you are referencing perhaps something else, something otherworldly that you've seen work for yourself and all of that. So religion, I feel like it puts a lot of people in danger, people that have undiagnosed mental health issues, and they get mixed up with the people that are like you, people that are not extreme, people that still have a good sense of reality, even if I do believe in other worldly things, I do believe in all of that, but I still understand, I still navigate things properly. And then most of the time, the people that mess religion up for everybody else is those people that have that line blurred, where like the suicide bombers and all of that, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people in religion, in spirituality, unfortunately, are very gullible.
Yeah.
To because whatever is out there. And I also kind of like see religion like what social media is right now. It's like you could be trending something. Right. So it's like an influencer, type of thing. Because even in church, like I was in church today, we're recording on a Sunday, and our pastor, when he's speaking, he's influencing our minds, and
of course
I, as the congregant, have to decide, do I want to follow that
and
way?
How many people
do I agree with him? And the sad side of religion is that pastors are seen as gods.
Of course,
right?
They are the proxy.
Like we can't question them when they say certain things, and you should. I'm at a stage in my life where I'm like, I'm gonna question everything that he says, because if it's not, it's not in my relationship with God, because that's the utmost. When we say put God first, you should have a relationship, a daily relationship,
so that you don't
God.
need, yes, you build each other, but you don't need someone else.
So by the time you come to church on Sunday, you're not like, yes to everything. You're not a robot, understand what I mean?
Agreed. So, I love, that's a nice, it's a nice cinematic note to end on.
Seriously.
Thank you guys for joining us. I think we spoke so long.
Thank you. Thank you.
So long. Thank you for joining us. We're recording on a Sunday, so we're feeling very very good.
Yeah.
Remember to subscribe. It feels cringe saying all of those things. Remember to we're trying to build a community. Here's Tandi. You guys love Thandiwe. She's going to respond to your comments.
You guys love Thula
I'm going
as
to make a response. I don't love you back. No, I'm kidding. I don't like people in general.
Wow.
So I don't.
Like,
thank you guys. That's the best promo. I don't like you guys. No,
So
I like you guys. Are great.
yeah.
You're gonna lead the people facing front of it. Thank you guys so much. This is Thula. You talk too much. I'm Thula. This is Thandiwe. We'll see you next week. Bye.
peace. Bye.